Mr. Howard, thanks for your time.
Nice to be talking to you.
Yes, there's been some discussion about Anzac Day this year, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has, Brian, and I've made my position as plain as I can get it. I support those Australians who were there at Gallipoli. I don't have a problem with their behaviour. I was proud to be their commanding officer,
no,
Brian.
Mr. Howard, I was actually meaning the meaning of Anzac Day altogether.
I've seen it said that they perhaps got on the Terps and left some crap lying about on the peninsula, but there's Australians. I mean, you get with your mates, you have a couple, you lose track of what's going on, you make a bit of a bloody mess. We do that at home, Brian. I mean, I don't see the difference.
Yeah, Mr. Howard, I wondered if the meaning of Anzac Day has somehow changed.
Anzac Day is a day of great importance in the Australian calendar, Brian.
What do you think that importance is?
Well, I think that the essential lessons and character of Anzac Day are as they have always been, Brian.
And what are they?
Well, it celebrates that very important time when the Australian government made a very significant decision, Brian, to
do as it was told by an imperial power.
To assemble a very, very impressive body of young men, very talented, very resourceful young men, and to send them away to
invade another country.
To defend Britain.
By invading Turkey.
And the way they did it, Brian, was of the utmost importance, because for a start they were
landed in the wrong place.
As I say, a very resourceful group of people. When you tried to get into the AIF in the very first lot of volunteers, Brian, you couldn't get in if you were under 6'1". So obviously our
graves were a little longer.
Army was a very impressive body of men, and they were led by generals who were
on a boat a couple of miles off the coast,
dealing with a pretty significant problem. I mean, they had a difficult task, and that terrain, I've been over that land, Brian. That's very difficult land. I mean, I've done that, and a lot of the generals at the time
hadn't bothered to.
They weren't given that opportunity because they were obviously
tucking into a bit of dinner.
They were trying to deal with the bigger picture, and there was a bigger picture because, of course, Anzac Day doesn't celebrate only Gallipoli. I mean, the First World War, Brian's full of other
cock-ups and
very, very famous battles, and this is where Australia comes of age. This is where we stand astride as centre stage and become a nation. I mean, obviously the empire is not there anymore. We're in charge of our own destiny now. I mean, now when Australia wants to know what it's doing in the future, it certainly doesn't look to Britain. Obviously, what we do now is
ring George.
Hang on, I've got to ring George, Brian. I've just had a very important message to ring George.
Minister, that was
anyway, the important thing, Brian, is that Anzac Day is very, 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 very important to all
politicians.
Almost sacred, you might say, Brian, to all
advertising sales.
To all Australians.
Prime Minister, thanks for your time.
Yeah, good on you. Now, bugger off. I'm going to talk to George, Brian, about Australia. We'll let you know. George! John Howard! Howard?